Get ready to hear the latest buzz on a possible $2,000 tariff dividend check that could land in your mailbox around mid-2026. This idea, championed by former President Donald Trump, promises a direct cash boost to Americans using revenue generated from tariffs. Imagine a fresh $2,000 in your pocket. What would that mean for your bills or holiday shopping? But before you start counting on that extra cash, there is a lot to unpack about how realistic this plan really is. President Trump recently announced that the government plans to distribute $2,000 tariff dividend checks starting sometime in mid-2026. He assured the public these checks could target individuals with moderate to middle incomes, aiming to put financial relief directly into American hands. This promise has ignited hope among millions, especially those grappling with rising costs of groceries, car insurance, and everyday essentials. Trump emphasized that hundreds of billions of dollars have been collected in tariff revenue, which would potentially fund these payments. However, while the idea sounds straightforward, experts, economists, and analysts are raising significant doubts about its feasibility. Despite tariff revenue being substantial, with projections estimating about $158.4 billion in 2025 and $207 billion in 2026, the cost of providing 2,000 checks to millions of Americans outpaces the revenue. Dramatically, if limited to tax filers and their spouses under $100,000 income, the estimated cost could be $279.8 billion, which already overshoots the tariff revenue for 2025. More inclusive scenarios that cover non-filers, spouses, and dependents would double that cost, potentially requiring over $600 billion, nearly twice the combined tariff revenue of 2025 and 2026. This financial mismatch is a big hurdle. The current tariff revenue was supposed to offset costs from prior tax and spending laws enacted earlier this year, making this dividend plan a significant stretch. Experts liken expecting tariff revenue to cover these checks to banking on a magic money tree, which is simply unrealistic. Without a reliable funding source, these payments could balloon the federal deficit, already soaring over $38 trillion as of late 2025. Another challenge lies in the political realm. For these dividend checks to happen, Congress would need to approve the legislation, and that is far from guaranteed. Fiscal conservatives, already wary of increasing budget deficits, are unlikely to support an initiative that could cost up to $600 billion annually. The divide in Congress means the odds of passing such a large spending bill are questionable. Even among economists who might support such payments, there is disagreement on whether stimulus checks are the best approach to aid the economy. Some warn that when extra cash is shoveled into consumers' hands, it can sometimes fuel inflation rather than ease financial burdens. This concern echoes past experiences when stimulus checks in previous administrations contributed to rising inflation rates, increasing prices for everything from food to energy. With many Republicans blaming earlier stimulus programs for inflation spikes, gaining political support for Trump's tariff checks could be even more complicated. Adding to these hurdles are potential legal challenges. Many of Trump's tariffs are currently under Supreme Court scrutiny, with some justices skeptical about the emergency powers used to impose these tariffs. If the court rules against the tariffs, up to 75% of the tariff revenue could vanish, effectively derailing any hope of funding these dividend checks from tariff proceeds. Market reactions also pose a risk. Funding large dividend payments through tariff revenues might unsettle bond investors, driving up treasury yields and increasing borrowing costs for businesses and consumers. This could undermine economic growth and make financing homes or small businesses more expensive. Despite these challenges, President Trump and his team are continuing to push the idea, suggesting that the checks may come as a tool to mitigate potential economic downturns. If job markets weaken or unemployment rises significantly, these payments could be framed as a necessary stimulus to avert deeper recessions. This aligns with the historical use of stimulus checks, which are generally reserved for genuine emergencies like the 2008 financial crisis or the 2020 pandemic. However, experts caution that relying on stimulus payments as a regular economic tool rather than a last resort emergency measure might signal underlying structural economic problems that need addressing. For viewers of USA Benefits Update, the takeaway is clear. While the concept of a $2,000 tariff dividend check landing in mid-2026 sounds appealing, there are substantial financial, political, legal, and economic barriers that could delay, diminish, or even cancel the program. Policymakers, Congress, the courts, and the broader economy will determine whether this idea moves from promise to reality. Stay informed, stay tuned, and keep watching USA Benefits Update for the latest on how these proposals evolve and how they might impact you and your family's finances. If you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and ring that notification bell so you never miss an update on benefits and economic changes that could affect your wallet. Thanks for watching USA Benefits Update, your go-to source for clear, up-to-the-minute information on government policies and benefits designed for you. Until next time, stay smart, stay informed, and take care.